What's going on, everyone? My name is legitbread, and in this review video we're going to take a look at the Vigilante, a pump action shotgun from X-Shot. Inside the packaging you'll find 12 darts and the Vigilante blaster itself. So before we start, I just want to give a big thank you to X-Shot for sending me some of their latest and greatest blasters. Really appreciate it. So let's get on with the review, starting with build quality and design. As you can tell, this blaster looks like a shotgun. They don't try to go overboard with any wacky aesthetics or designs. Everything is clean, crisp, and simple, and in this case, simple does the trick. At the front we have two barrels, a pump action handle, a release button for the barrel, trigger well, elongated handle, and a stock. I gotta say, the elongated handle is just perfect. It's super comfortable, and I just think any shotgun that has this style of grip should model it after this. And I really like what they're trying to do innovation-wise with the stock. The stock itself is pretty durable, and they decided to put a total of 8 dart holders within the stock, and I think that's a great use of space considering this blaster only has a capacity of 2 darts, and this really helps alleviate that fact. And not only is it a dart holder, it actually folds inwards as well. This makes it a little easier to maneuver around corners. Or if you want to stabilize your shot, you can just leave the stock outwards and rest it against your shoulder. Overall build quality is pretty good. It doesn't feel cheap and it's quite durable and light. My one big issue with this blaster though is the stability of the stock. And the whole point of the stock is to rest it against your shoulder so you can stabilize your shot when you're pulling back the pump handle and everything. But if you push it against your shoulder a little too much, it'll actually fold the stock upwards. The best way to prevent that from happening is having the bottom of the stock take most of the pressure, so that way you don't have the force on top pushing the stock forward. I think a better design choice would be like a release button that would actually unlock or lock the stock into place. But as long as you remember to not put too much pressure on the stock, which you don't really need to since this isn't a heavy prime, then it shouldn't be that big of an issue. To use this blaster, you press down on the release button and load 1 dart into each individual barrel. There's 2 barrels all together. Bring this barrel upwards, then pull the pump handle and pull the trigger to fire. This blaster very much resembles a shotgun in terms of its looks and in terms of its performance, and honestly it is just a lot of fun. Man, like I cannot tell you just how satisfying it is to pop down this barrel and just flick it back into place. And I just love the ratcheting noises. It adds to the experience. That's some ASMR for you. And the pump action is very smooth. Really no issues with that there. Trigger pull is fine. Overall, it's just a very fun experience, and that's honestly what you would want from any blaster. And it's interesting to note that this blaster doesn't have a smart AR system. Even if a dart's not loaded, it will always fire air through the top barrel first and then through the bottom barrel next. So if you're only loading 1 dart into the blaster, make sure that you load it into the top barrel first. To understand this blaster a little bit better, let's move on to the firing test. Shout out to these people for answering the last food for thought. Answer this video's food for thought using one of the hashtags and you might get a shout out in the next video. Just like all X-Shot blasters, the Vigilante is also compatible with not just X-Shot darts, but all major brands, which also includes Nerf, so you don't just need X-Shot darts to enjoy using this blaster. It has advertised ranges of 90 feet, which is very similar to the Nerf Elite ranges, and it pretty much hits the mark and maybe a little bit beyond. I'm actually really surprised to see how powerful this blaster is. That surprises me considering there's so much dead space in here. This is just one long continuous barrel. The dart is actually fired way over here. So there's a lot of room for the darts to actually hit the sides of the barrels and actually lose a lot of its velocity just due to all that friction and all that ricocheting. Yeah, it's good to see that it's still able to compensate for that fact. From the firing test, it's most powerful with X-Shot and Elite darts, and AccuStrike darts are a little bit lagging behind, but they have better accuracy. And speaking about accuracy, this blaster is nothing special. It's just as inaccurate as all other blasters out there. Yep, so with X-Shot darts, Elite darts, you're definitely going to be getting your 30+ foot flat ranges, and that's what you can expect from a pretty solid stock blaster. To summarize, you're getting a blaster that looks great, performs great, and it's just a lot of fun to use. Very much resembles a shotgun and performs like it. This break and load mechanism is just so much fun. It is pretty much the reason why this is one of my favorite X-Shot blasters out there. Let's talk negatives. Well, to me, the biggest thing is the stock's integrity. If you have it in this configuration, you might occasionally forget that you can't put too much pressure on this. Otherwise, you might do that, and that's really jarring and annoying. And if you have the stock up like that, you know, it's a little more compact. But if you have darts loaded in here, it can impede your wrist, and it's kind of annoying. Plus, it's a little harder to reach the release button here. But you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's still one of my favorite X-Shot blasters out there. And the other big negative thing is the Vigilante has a very horribly slow rate of fire. But honestly, you go into buying this blaster knowing that fact. Since these are foam blasters and not actual firearms, you're not really getting anything in terms of better performance when you buy a shotgun like this. You're buying it because it's fun, and it is quite entertaining. It really brings out the inner kid in you when you just do that. So that's why on the scale of legitness, I gotta give the Vigilante a fair rating. More specifically, I label it the giant gummy bear. It's something you get purely for fun. Thanks for watching, and thank you, X-Shot. Check out my other X-Shot videos on the screen, or check out my playlist in the top right corner. If you want to buy some of the latest and greatest X-Shot and Nerf gear, you can check out my links in the description. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.